Go ahead and bring him on. Go ahead and start the feed.
And I
Turn
do
off
share
the
this
music.
screen for my switcher, right? When I'm ready to share for switcher for the second half of the show.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
But we're unmuted, he said as well.
Oh, okay.
No, but yes,
Okay.
you can.
Because
And
that when we do that 8:15, you said is when you're doing. Okay.
he's not on yet. Is there a way? There is a way to put a note in there. Tell him tell him as soon as you. Oh, he's not even in the waiting. All right, go ahead and just fire us up. Let's get active.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but take off the
The big old logo, shebang.
Come on, dude.
Oh, he said, Dr. Clothier said, I'm waiting to be let into the meeting.
So he's here. Dr. Clothier is here. Are you in Google or Zoom? Are you in June? Are you in June? Are you in August? Are you in September? Which platform are you in, sir? You're in the Zoomy Joomy? So, COVID-19 conversation, by the way.
I think I hear him.
Is he there?
No,
Good morning.
no, that was me. That was
So,
me.
Oh, sorry.
COVID-19, TEA has recalled back statistics on schools. They're not releasing them yet. There's something wrong with the numbers. They had initially said that the numbers were down and they were looking good.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and so TEA is now saying, well, we're not ready
Did
to
you find
release.
out from Dr. Good? Did they?
No, I heard on the radio this morning coming in.
Wow.
And, yeah, so we can talk about that as well. Dr. Fauci, new release on Florida. Governor
Yeah.
DeSantos is opening up Florida.
Oh, they're unmasked as of this weekend.
Yeah.
Unmasked.
All right.
And then you have Biden, who, if he's elected,
Good
said
morning,
there will
all.
be a mandate in 2021.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Live from VentureX Studios in Frisco, Texas. It's JP, Kathy, and the crew.
And the crew. Good morning to the crew. Hey, Bill and Ted's Big Excellent Adventure. While we get Dr.
Did
Clothier
you watch
on.
it?
Not yet. I'm going to go,
Oh,
though.
Well, and it's been out on like pay-per-view or whatever. We've been wanting to watch it, but we just haven't yet.
We haven't either. So
But I'm totally up for that.
yeah. Oh, gosh. I'm
Yeah.
party down.
Yeah.
All right. So it is Monday. And again, we are.
What reminded you of that when we went the crew?
The crew.
Okay.
Yeah. I felt like Mike Myers for a minute.
Oh, now that's
Crew,
Mike Myers. That is Wayne's World, not to be confused.
Oh, yeah.
with Bill
with
and Ted.
Bill and Ted. My bad.
That's I was like, wait, what?
Well, I felt like Keanu Reeves for just a minute, I guess. I'm better looking than Keanu, so that's good. My hair doesn't look greasy.
I love it. Oh,
Plus, I wear a
love it.
Longhorn hat as well.
Have you seen him in what's that? Not Jack Ryan. I'll have to look it up. Somebody from the crew, please tell me.
No, that's way cool.
You know what movies of Keanu Reeves?
Buddy, you know it.
Oh, and the dog got
Hey,
killed.
we
The
gotta
wife
save
got
this.
killed.
We got to save this for Entertainment Friday.
Yeah, because we actually know something about
We do
this.
now, yeah. I'll tell you the three of those movies. They're way good. They need to do the fourth one.
And I think they will. You know the one, the dog gets killed, and the wife, Daisy, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Those are just ridiculously fantastic.
I do. I love it. No, I love
We
it.
will talk about that on Friday, so stay tuned.
We will. We should have Dr. Clothier coming on here in just a moment.
Trends in COVID, and if we have some time, fall.
Safety.
Yes.
Well, and we want to get to that
Here,
because
let me show you this, Charles.
we want to get to that because of the fact that schools are now getting ready to head back to
In
in
person.
person.
The
Arlington
ones
ISD.
who haven't already done like a hybrid, like
Right.
a Plano or something like that.
Well, and Arlington ISD is doing a hybrid. They are going to go A through L a certain day, and then the remainder of the alphabet another certain day.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But we got Dr. Clothier going to be calling in. We're going to be talking about false safety. We're going to be talking about COVID-19. I don't think you can have a medical conversation without that. being a part of it.
And for a
Mondays.
long time to come, JP, I think for a long time to come, just COVID's going to be part of our world.
Oh, absolutely.
Some type of discussion. We've got dear family friends of mine. They go back way to friends of my mom and dad's before they all started having, kids. But it looks like we may lose a dear family friend to COVID. Wife had it, daughter had it, husband got it, and just, again, everybody gets hit differently, and it really impacted his lungs and his kidneys.
Yeah.
So our prayers are going out to the Hayes family. If the crew would please keep them in their prayers. Greatly appreciate
So
that.
hopefully we've got Dr. Clothier coming on here in just a minute. We resent him a link. Is that right?
Excellent.
And so we're going to be, like I said, talking about COVID-19. Again, if you're noticing across the board a surge they're complaining about in the Midwest and on the East Coast.
Yes.
Again. Here's the thing, and that's with the East Coast being locked down with businesses even more restricted. I read something the other day where a Maryland restaurant owner, 4 generations had run and owned that restaurant. He tried to pivot. He tried to reinvent himself. They're a higher-end restaurant, locally owned, steaks, that kind of thing, and then trying to turn into a fast food pick-up-and-go kind of deal. It just didn't work out, and their brothers are going to have to finally close the restaurant down.
See, and those are the stories. And you know some folks personally in Dallas, and that place where you went and got us tamales before they shut down. How many generations
in downtown.
were they
Yeah,
open up?
geez, I don't even want to go there.
Since
Dallas started doing business.
Yeah, I mean that's where it just breaks your heart, because that's what that family. A lot of them, when they first came to the United States, that was their dream, and they brought it to fruition, and only to have COVID and decisions by the government take it away. It's weird. Like speaking of COVID and how it impacts you, we had gone to the Perot Museum. We took the kids and last night to the Perot Museum, and we're going to go out to a restaurant in the Arts District. But the majority of them, after 5 o'clock on Sunday evening, were closed.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like a ghost town. It was just weird. But then Dallas County's under Clay Jenkins and under some very strict guidelines.
And again, when you look at that across the board, Charles, if you'll come grab the phone. Well, you've got him, all right.
Oh, he said passcode not valid.
No, I've got him.
All right.
Oh, yay,
So if
okay.
we've got Dr. Clothier, let's go ahead and get him on in here.
You're seeing the behind the scenes technology.
Lots to talk about.
Yes,
Good morning,
yes.
Doug
And
Shockey.
he is the experienced expert,
He
not
is.
us. We just like to pontificate on it.
We do.
There's
There he
Dr.
is.
Clothier, yay!
Sorry about
Hey.
that, Dr. Clothier.
Good
We
morning.
apologize.
I was worried I wouldn't have a full inbox this morning, but now I do.
You can do a little
I have
deleting
like 7
after
or
a
8 coats on you guys if I need to use them against you someday.
Well, what we were concerned with is your self-esteem. We wanted to make sure you knew that you were loved in your inbox.
Oh, yes.
I feel like I have friends that are email. That's probably it.
I love it.
But thanks
I
for
love it.
watching out for me. I appreciate that.
You're very always thinking of you, Dr.
Oh.
Clothier.
Well, that's very kind.
So, lots going on with COVID-19. A lot of Dallas schools,
Oh.
big schools, have announced that they are going back to in-person today. Arlington ISD, for example, is one of those. Dallas and Fort Worth, ISD, Fort Worth ISD. They're going back to hybrids with alphabets, A through L going back certain days, the remainder of the alphabets going back the other days. So we've got COVID-19 on the rise across the country is what national news is saying. You've got Florida removing all PPPs. You've got them opening up all the businesses, the restaurants, the bars. And so with that being said, I mean, where are we at with COVID-19? Are we at a position where we are ready to ignore this and move forward?
Well, that's actually a great question. I appreciate you phrasing it that way because this has been a challenging thing, obviously, for everybody. And I think if you go back and, if you heard what I said initially was, before the shutdown of everything, I didn't honestly think COVID-19 would be a really big deal. I thought it'd be more of a common cold, more of a viral presence among us. And then, of course, we had the shutdown and the fears and the daily death count. And hospitalization rates, and there weren't going to be enough intubators in the world, and, or ventilators to intubate people. And now, we're getting back down to kind of the reality. So I have a couple of thoughts on that. One is, I always find that when school starts back, we see illness after about 2 weeks. We tend to see strep throat, sinus infections, colds. And I think COVID's going to be kind of similar. I think the masking will help. I think the barriers they have in place in classrooms will help. I think the reduced numbers will help, but there still is going to be infection in a couple of weeks. I just can't see a way around that, because that's what happens when people get together. And of interest, I actually just saw a study the other day that 60% of new COVID cases are associated with someone who's been in a restaurant within the past 10 to 14 days. And so, we've talked
really,
about
so
before,
just,
the risk
and
of-
again, and Dr. Clothier, I've got just being in a restaurant last night. So in the last 10 to 14 days being in a restaurant, even though they're all still, like we were super social distanced last night. So that's not making a difference, is what
well, it's
seems
still
to not
been
be.
60% of people. So with
Wow.
new cases. So, there's something to be said about being in public and getting the risk going up. That's just the bottom line. And I think, the other cases, or the people who are not getting it, are probably those who are being more careful about social distancing and masking. And, it may be the perpetrator, the asymptomatic individual kept a mask on longer where you were. That would be good news. Or there just wasn't anybody there who's an asymptomatic sheddar. That's the other factor that we can't really take full account for, because we don't know exactly who is asymptomatic, because by definition, they don't have symptoms. And so, it's one of those kind of straightforward things. So I'll just mention, since I hadn't mentioned yet today, we just discovered the virus 10 and a half months ago. And not even
Wow.
10 months and 10 days ago. And so, it's still something we got to figure out. Now, having said all that, though, when I look at schools going back, I do think there'll be a bump up in infections. I think the fall will bring that naturally, people being indoors more, protection fatigue, all those factors. But here's a stat that I think is important, is we have hit 1,020 deaths in Dallas County, according to the Dallas Morning News report this morning. There are 2.8 million people in Dallas County. That's about that's about 0.36% of people. And so we're talking about a very low death rate. I also saw in the same newspaper, there are 3 people found dead in a hotel under suspicious circumstances that the police are investigating as homicides. There were 3 tragically killed in a drunk driving death. There were 2 other shootings. So there are 8 people dead from other means, violence,
Right.
than from COVID, which was the 4 people who are deceased from that. So I think that rate of infection we need to pay attention to, 0.36%. Now, if you want to extrapolate that statewide, 15,500 deaths, 33 million people in Texas. It's about 0.4%. So we're very consistent. Dallas is right on the level with the rest of Texas. Now, if we look at, again, deaths from everything else, I think we're going to see higher numbers. And I think we have to take in perspective. I believe that if we were announcing deaths every day from violence, from suicide, from heart disease, from cancer in general, from age, from hospice scenarios, whether due to Alzheimer's disease or other debilitating illness, I think we would find we'd all be in shock how many Texans die every day.
Right.
And I think we have to get a perspective at some point on the fact that there's a virus among us and it has a casualty rate. We have a lot of other things among us that have a casualty rate. And that needs to play a role in education, jobs, family opportunity to be together with your loved one who is elderly, and the many aspects of life that are high quality events in our lives.
Dr. Clothier, if I may, I'd like to incorporate fall safety into the COVID-19 approach, right? So we're getting into colder weather.
Yeah.
I was listening to some statistics in regards to the flu, and that 1 in 3 families are saying that they are not going to take their children in to get the flu vaccine because they are afraid
Really?
of catching COVID-19, and with them sharing such similar symptoms that they would just rather keep their kids at home rather than vaccinate.
I personally, of course, disagree because I am one who believes that the vaccine saves lives. I think we have a very high rate of influenza death each year. I do think it'll be a little lower this year because people are protecting themselves more and paying more attention. But I think that it is, first, I believe when we bring people into the office, they're very safe. We screen people, we check temperatures, we minimize the number of people in one spot at one time. We all are, masked up and using proper hygiene techniques. And I think the risk, I assume these 130 people are the people who have not left their home, gotten groceries or eaten out, and probably aren't going to a workplace. But if they're fully isolated at home, I still would say that they should find a way to go get that immunization. We can have somebody in out of the office with an immunization within minutes. And, again, we screen them. And, I think it's that may be just sort of another excuse to not do a vaccine, which I think is unfortunate because I do think vaccines prevent disease. So if you don't vaccinate and you worry about crossover symptoms between flu and COVID, when you do have a sick child on your hands, you can't rule out one or the other because, in terms of the flu, you can't say, well, they've been immunized against the flu, and therefore it's more likely other disease. You'd have to test for everything. And I think that's too high a risk. I would encourage people to get the vaccine. If not, other years, even this year, it's probably more important to not be debilitated by influenza and then be subject to
Absolutely.
COVID-19.
Well, and you talked about that.
It'd really be smart to get
Yeah,
it.
well, and
Yes?
you talked about it, Dr. Clothier, and I think this, and I quote you all the time, just FYI. I'm like, Dr. Clothier says, and
Thank you.
people.
I'll ask for my royalties soon.
Yes,
Go
you will
ahead,
be getting
though.
those royalties soon. Well, again, you talk about that with the flu. You can a lot of, and heck, 2 years ago, even with the flu shot, I still got the flu twice, and I got pneumonia one time, bronchitis one time. I can't imagine adding into the mix, and I can't imagine the stress of walking around knowing I haven't been at least somewhat protected from the flu, with COVID being out there and there being no
Sure.
vaccine yet, and just. I guess I just don't understand the rationalization. Now, if you're one of those people who never wanted the shot and you're part of that whole crew, I get it. I mean, that's been your thing all along. But if you're somebody who naturally gets the flu shot for yourself and or your children, that just makes
Yes.
the risk is too high right now to not at least try to protect
Yeah.
yourself.
Absolutely. I agree. I think it's like putting on seatbelts and staying in your lane when you drive.
Yes.
We all know there are bad drivers out there and people who text and drive and drink and drive despite years of trying to, minimize the impact of that. It hasn't made that much of a difference because people always think they know better. But, I think that if you are in a wreck and you have, you've stayed where you should be and you're seatbelted in, you have airbags, whatever, you're going to be better off than if you are sort of like hanging out the window, kind of daring things to come at you and get you. And, I think immunization is that way. We have risk in life and we want to minimize those risks. And for the sake of the family, I think that's a very important thing to do. And I also think that if you look at just, the fact you had 2 strains of flu a couple of years ago, you still are alive. Best I can tell there.
Yes.
You're moving on camera.
Today I am. I woke up. I'm happy.
It must be cold in there. But anyway, you
It's
did
chilly
pull through
today.
because even if the flu shot isn't perfect, you're still far healthier. What I tend to say is I feel like I can diagnose the flu from across the parking lot because people are so sick, they barely get out of their car. They barely move toward the office. They don't want to move from the front desk area to the back to an exam room because they are so sick. When they've had a shot and they had the flu, they're at least up moving around talking and saying, boy, I have body aches and I feel sick. We'll do a test and it's positive, but it's not nearly as bad as unimmunized influenza, which is devastating. I think people forget. There's a mistake people make in calling things the flu. They're not the flu. Like, you know, I'll see somebody with a 24-hour GI bug. They vomited, they've, you know, had a little diarrhea, they feel a little better, but they felt pretty wiped out for a day, and they'll say, oh man, this was a bad flu I had. Well, that's not the flu. That's a virus, but it's not influenza. Influenza is very devastating.
Right.
So other fall safety I do want to mention, because I think it gets forgotten, is that we're still, you know, about to have a couple of cooler days, but we also have days coming in the 80s. I just want to remind people there's still some with ultraviolet light. If you're out in the fall, you know, and you're enjoying the cooler weather, that's great, but protect yourself from the sun, because you still need cover and sunscreen because the sun's still out there. And there also are other critters out and around. There still are mosquitoes. We are having a relatively active West Nile virus season. That's been kind of behind the scenes of the whole COVID scare, but, you know, you'd still need insect prevention if you can, to various ways to keep yourself from being eaten up by mosquitoes. You know, avoid being out at dawn and dusk, and use insect repellent, or put a laundry dryer sheet in your pocket, and, you know, minimize the risk there. Use citronella, whatever way you can prevent the mosquito bites, you want to do that. And then I have personally noticed an uptick in the number of critters I've seen out in the wild. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. Not out in the wild, in the city, but near wild areas.
I was going to say, so when have you been out in the wild, Dr. Clothier? You never told us.
What I'm talking about. It doesn't get any wilder than here in my office.
I believe that.
I have a fairly staid and dull life, but in terms of the activities. But I do walk each morning, and I've seen now actually probably 3 coyotes recently. I've seen a little bit of animal damage that could be from other creatures. Seeing a couple of raccoons out and around. Raccoons can carry rabies, and you know, it's just one of those, you just kind of want to be aware if you're out and around more, which is great in the cityscape, and there are a lot of nice little trails and whatever around. Just still be aware that there are some risks out there. And the other thing I just feel like is very valuable to mention right now with COVID-19 concerns is part of the reason we see more infection in the wintertime, including influenza and various other illnesses, is people being enclosed inside more. Try to get out and around, try to ventilate your home, get some outside air in. I think, you know, that would diffuse any viral, well, it wouldn't diffuse any viral risk, but it'll diffuse the viral risk of cumulative viral particles. And you do, you know, that's why being outside safer. We've had church services outside the last 3 weeks, for instance, because it's safer than being inside, and we don't have any kind of proposed restriction on the size of the meeting now. But we are social distancing and having that fresh air. Yesterday morning, there was a nice breeze blowing through. I feel like the risk was near zero, honestly, of viral transmission. And so you do want to get some air, get some exercise, get your morning walk, get some sit-ups, push-ups, do something active to keep yourself healthy.
Now, Dr. Clothier, what level of DEET is too much for the body? And should you wash DEET off after a certain amount of time?
Yeah, I actually am a big fan of spraying with an insect repellent. Spray your shoes and your collar and your sleeve, and it'll keep insects away, and you therefore don't put it on your skin. I think you want to minimize the amount on skin. You can't really wash it off because it does soak into the skin layer mildly. And so I personally don't think you should slather, smother, overspray bug repellent. There is, as I mentioned, laundry sheets, like Bounce laundry softener sheets, whatever. I always forget the exact phrase for them, but dryer if you put one in your pocket, it actually has a tendency to repel mosquitoes. And if you drink apple cider vinegar, you may not taste as good or smell as good to mosquitoes. And
that's a good idea.
There are a number of maneuvers you can take. They're non-chemical, but I personally like to spray the back of my collar, my sleeves, and my socks and shoes, and that keeps most everything away. They'll even help prevent like chiggers crawling up your leg, because they won't want to get on the shoe and the sock.
Right.
And of course, the
apple
other
cider
thing is
work?
just cover in general. If you're wearing jeans, you're going to be more protected than if you're not, for instance,
Right.
if you're in shorts.
Does it have to be
Now,
the
with
apple cider
sunscreen,
vinegar?
it's very important to put sunscreen on before exposure for several minutes before, so that it will soak in and it will prevent
Right.
the UV light damage. And that needs to be about 20 or 30 minutes before exposure when possible. But with bug repellent, that's not the case.
So, Dr. Clothier, let me shift over back towards school-age children and the winter, or I say winter, the fall temperatures coming in. I'm sitting in the studio, and I'm, snivelly, and I'm sneezing. So we're sending kids back to school. There was an MIT study that came out that said when you sneeze, that sneeze will travel like 26 feet.
Wow.
With masks on, I mean, first of all, with a mask on, and you're having, like me right now, right, sniveling and having a hard time breathing through my nose, and I'm sneezing, is that mask going to help, or does it at some point become ineffective due to the amount of sneezing, the amount of runny nose, and all of that? And what as a parent should I do before I send my kid to school?
Yeah, that's kind of a multi-level question. First, if
Yes.
you're sniffling, sneezing, and such, you shouldn't go to school. I think you need to protect the other students from that. And, I realize your situation's different there in the studio. And
Right.
while I feel like I'm taking you to school on this, I think it's a little different situation than being in a classroom all day with students. So, the first thing is pay attention to symptoms and self-isolate reasonably. The second is that if you are wearing a mask, of course, there will be some air gain around. That's why the argument against masks of saying it's suffocating people is not accurate, because there is air exchange. And so air is different, though, than particles and droplets from sneezing. So if you've ever seen a video of a sneeze or a cough in a room and seeing how the particles spread, it is shocking how much one sneeze or one cough can just fill a room. And again, going back to the correlation we made a few weeks ago of cigarette smoke, if somebody were smoking in the room with you, you'd know within half a second, because that smell gets there, and the smoke and the ash and debris, and that's how things coming out of the human body are. And so when you sneeze, it does propel, but if you sneeze into a mask, you're going to stop the droplets from propelling around, and you still have some air exposure from the escape around the mask, but it won't be those droplets. So when a mask becomes ineffective is when it's wet. If you sneeze so many times that it's moist inside, you just need to change it out, because it's just it will lose some of its integrity when it gets wet. It won't allow the spread of the droplets, but it just won't be as isolating of you. And remember, the reason to wear a mask is to protect other people. It's not to protect yourself.
Right.
And if you sneeze into your mask and you have, the particles from that sneeze, that's not a higher risk for you, because that's already within you anyway. You're sneezing out irritant particles, not, new infection exposure to yourself.
Well, but at some point, does that mask become ineffective because you've just loaded it up with so many particles? And so therefore...
well, when it's wet, you need to get a new mask.
Okay.
Or wash your mask. Yeah. And so, it still will halt the spread of particles unless it has a hole torn in it.
Gotcha.
That's a whole different deal. If you sneeze violently enough to tear a hole in your mask, you probably need to get a higher grade
You
mask.
probably should.
Right.
You should probably not be
Using
out and about.
paper towel.
Right.
Dr. Clothier, do you see...
if you're really concerned about that, the thing to do is self-isolate.
Now, do you see any new trends in medicine to help with allergies during this season with COVID-19 present? Has anybody said, okay, we need to really separate out, allergies and COVID-19, and we've got this new medicine for kids, or any new trends in medicine?
No, it takes so many years to get a medicine to market. There's not going to be anything new. You're just going to want to do the full court press of allergy relief, which is, shower at night so that you don't sleep in your pollen from your hair and all over you and get all over your pillow. You want to use a reasonable antihistamine like a loratadine, fexofenadine, sertraline, and then which are all over the counter. You want to consider a nasal spray, which many of which are now over the counter to block that nasal spread. And you want to consider whether you need to be, seeing your doctor to minimize symptoms with something a little more aggressive than that. But there won't be, any new product, because it takes millions of dollars and a number of years to get an FDA approval. And that's part of the challenge, talking about the whole COVID-19 vaccine issues with FDA approval and proper testing. It's usually a years-long process. And all the talk of an immediate solution is pretty optimistic and probably not likely to occur.
Very good. Now, as the fall weather comes in, I'm noticing a lot of schools are back to playing high school football. Volleyball state tournament is coming up, where they're going to be in a large facility like the one in Garland, the Garland ISD facility off George Bush down, not
like
too far
Caldwell
from
Center.
Yeah, not far from your office. So you're going to have people now converging from all over the state. Give us just a real quick list of do's and don'ts with our family members and
Sure.
with protecting ourselves from, really a huge room that's going to be recirculating air throughout the day.
Yeah, I think, I'm hoping those facilities will do things to keep doors open and allow fresher air to come in as opposed to only recirculated air. But if you're in a large facility, the biggest thing to do is socially isolate. You don't want to get into a group of people talking, cheering right next to each other. A line for a concession stand, pay attention to the 6 foot distancing. A line for a bathroom, pay attention to 6 foot distancing, and keep yourself from being in a small cluster group. What I've seen so far at college football is they have a limited number of people in the stands, but those people in the stands sooner or later, and mostly sooner, are clustering together and yelling, cheering. That is a risk factor, being right next to somebody. Being in a huge room, like something like the Caldwell Center, and being socially distanced is actually a pretty reasonable. That's nearly like being outside, especially if they'll bring in some outside air to push through there. And so I'm hoping that that's the plan. I believe it will be. And, I think keeping in mind, like, for instance, when churches meet, we've met outside. We could meet inside with a limited number of people in a huge room, a large auditorium sanctuary, but you don't want to be in the small classroom with somebody for an hour's time, like a children's classroom. And that's one of those hard things. But, the smaller the space, the bigger the risk. And so you can't really socially isolate more than, or socially distance, effectively when you're in a small room of people with people all over. If you're in a big room, you have people 6 feet apart and a lot of air. That's a greatly reduced risk compared to a smaller space. So keep your social distancing and wash your hands a lot. Try not to touch your face. Wear your mask for the sake of others. Those are all the keys.
All right. Well, Dr. Clothier, my biggest concern and my last question is we're trying to educate ourselves to keep ourselves in a good spot, right? And it seems like all the things that we're told to do, sometimes they seem to work, sometimes they don't seem to work. When it comes down to it, this thing is a virus. How do we educate ourselves on viral care, I guess? Yeah,
well, part of it is, first, it's been less than 10.5 months since the virus was genotyped, so we need to learn more about it. Second, you cannot completely protect yourself from infectious disease. That is not a human possibility. You will end up interacting with organisms, whether viral or bacterial or fungal or amoebic, at some point in your life. One of those will get you to some degree. So what you want is the best reasonable prevention, which is good hygiene, excellence with nutrition, excellence with exercise helps the immune response. And then keeping your immune response up through healthy living is clearly one of those factors. And then reasonable washing hands. I've treated infectious disease for 30 years, and I have yet to die from one. And I think a lot of that is immunization, paying attention to that properly. Washing hands. I wash my hands probably 400 times a day. I try not to touch my face. I'll readily admit wearing a mask makes me touch toward my face more often than before, because, it shifts around and it's just one of those challenges. But I'm trying to only touch the mask, not the face. And, just all of those
hard.
little pieces build up to we reduce risk. And,
Right.
And again, to correlate that to driving, if you're in your lane, seatbelted, watching, paying attention, not on the cell phone, not drunk, not, fiddling with your radio, not picking up your spilled trash off the floor, most of the time you're going to get there safely. You may get broadsided by somebody. It can happen, but most of the time you're going to end up safe if you pay attention to the rules. And that's how I feel about the virus as well. Most of the time, I think people are going to land in a safe spot, even if they get the infection. Sometimes it'll blindside you and devastate you. And that's a very difficult thing to predict at this point.
Well, Dr. Clothier, I cannot thank you enough. I think
Wonderful
we've taken
info, as
you
always.
way past time, and I don't want you to miss any of your patients out there because I know what a wonderful job you do.
Well, I appreciate that. They're lined up out here banging.
We can see the door starting to swell up. They're like zombies. They're on the other side.
Very good. Well, do have a blessed week.
You as well.
Too,
Have a
Dr.
blessed
Clothier.
week. Stay
Thank
safe.
You.
All right. You know, Charles, can
great
you?
info.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great
Charles,
info
can
as
you grab
always.
my screen, please? My computer went quiet. What's that?
Oh, and
Yeah,
Fred Nort says that he mentioned
I'm gonna
apple cider vinegar.
You're going to need Medical
apples,
Monday.
Apple. I'm going to Medical Monday you.
You wanna grab that, man.
Fred mentioned that that Dr. Clothier mentioning apple cider vinegar again. He said, reminded me to go get it this morning.
Yeah, there you go.
Apple cider
And
vinegar or
and
just
apple cider, apple cider, no. It's while it tastes yummy, not so much. But that's one of those things that again, it can't hurt. It's supposed to help with things like inflammation. I take it because it's supposed to help with your pH balance, and when your body's got a good pH balance, cancer it's harder for cancer to get in. So, I think a lot of the information he gets to us, even if COVID weren't in the picture, it's good advice. It can't hurt. If you're trying to beef up your immune system, why not?
Is that what it's
I
supposed to
agree.
look like, John? The screen.
Yes, if you can make that the whole screen, I want to show. So today what came out, and to continue with Medical Monday here, and again, remember, Kathy and I are, we're continually adjusting the channel. And so you're going to find...
We haven't even hit 60 days of being on yet. This is crazy.
Yeah, and so, but you're going to see that we're going to become very content driven now versus topic or title driven. And so on
we're not
Mondays,
just going to give you 2 or 3 minutes of a story and send you the link. We're going to dive deep into it. And we want you to dive deep into it with us. We want your opinion.
We do. We want to hear from you. Become a member of the crew by going to Linktree/JP, Kathy, and crew.
I'm pulling it up here
and we'll get that on the screen
there
in a
it
minute.
is.
But I want you to see, so schools have come out with numbers. Well, it has now come back. Well, those numbers may or may not
I had not
be
seen
accurate.
This yet. Yeah,
so
I'm
TEA,
anxious to hear this.
Yeah, TEA is starting over again. And so that's all we have right now. But these were the numbers that were released for Texas schools. Cumulative positive student cases, 3,720. You can see the graph, of course, when school started. Of course, you're going to have a climb, because you're going to start at 0 and then go up. And then you've got a cumulative positive staff cases where they have also gone up. And again, it shows a dip. And they had 3,053 staff members statewide. Now, I want you to keep in mind, we're doing all this panicking. We're doing all of this. Look at this number. Oops. Why isn't my screen wanting to scroll with me? Hold on a second. We want to scroll down. I want to show you this because this is what's going to be mind-blowing. Look at that.
Let's bring that up on the whole screen. Let me see.
1,101,065 students were on campus during the first week of school. 800,078 staff members were on campus the first week of school.
And when are they saying the first week of school? Are they?
It goes back to August the 9th.
August 9th. Okay, gotcha.
If you look back, what's that?
That's nearly a 1-to-1.
Yeah. But look at this. Again, 3,700 kid cases, 3,053 teacher staff cases. How many have we heard have died? Goose egg.
Well, I was going to say not that I'm aware of.
Goose
and
egg.
I'm assuming that would mean anybody who they could have taken it back to and impacted, like a kid who got it on campus and brought it back to a grandparent or a parent or something, I'm assuming.
But I mean, I have had none. I've had nobody. I haven't read it, and trust me, it would have been in the news.
That's
teacher dies. Teacher aide dies.
That's what I've got.
Student dies. I mean, trust me, it'd have been blown up all over by the liberal news to try to use it to create fear mongering. Now, again, is the virus real? Yes, just as much as the flu virus, West Nile virus, all the viruses that are out there. It is real. Should we protect ourselves? We should, just like we should with the flu virus, West Nile virus. Again, like Dr. Clothier said, we have to be careful we don't get so hypersensitive about COVID-19 and forget that there are worse things out there killing us and harming us.
I was really baffled when he said that there are parents. I mean, and again, he sees, he's a family practitioner, sees tons of folks, entire families. I mean, I know, heck, he sees you and your dad. It's one of those things that he has said that he knows people. So it's got to be his patient, some of his patients who are saying, have always got my kids a flu shot, but because of COVID, I'm not. I just, that leaves me shaking my head.
Yeah.
Does that just, I mean, are you getting the flu shot?
Me? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get it this weekend. Definitely getting the flu shot. Definitely, pushing my kids to go get the flu shot as well. Just better safe than sorry. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I'm really surprised by that one.
Absolutely.
Especially this year.
All right. Well, so I think it's time. Kathy, it's cold outside, Kathy.
Baby, it's cold outside.
And I've already drank my first cup of coffee.
You've already gone through one? Wow. Well, you got here way before I did.
Well, not way before. I got about 30 minutes.
Yeah,
enough that your coffee would have been cold if I'd have got it for you.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So, it's time for me to go get a cup of coffee.
You go rock and roll. Why don't we have Charles follow you out?
Well, we might, but I'm going to leave you here in studio. You may have to smile real pretty and
what?
Because you do. Well, I don't know that's the pretty smile. That's kind of a fun cartoon.
That's my, wait, what?
That's your cartoon fun smile.
That's my what? Wait, what? What is happening?
What is
But can't we get you on camera going out to get coffee? They've got a really good coffee.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, we're getting ready to rock and roll.
Will you bring me back another one?
Oh, you got it. Which one do you want?
There was one
you want
I
decaffeinated?
found. No, do you want me to have decaffeinated?
Oh, heck yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Me?
There was one out there that was like, it's some kind of, I was like,
the Hawaiian blend.
The two that I like, they're out of right now.
Yeah,
the caramel,
the caramel
something
blah, blah, blah.
cream and the vanilla something or other.
Yeah, the two blah, blah, blah.
I found this Hawaiian thing. It's pretty tasty.
Well, you want Hawaiian.
You know what?
You want one sugar?
No sugar.
No sugar. Do you want one cream?
And when you come in, just pour half of it in this cup and don't let me have the rest of it.
Okay.
But you can have the rest
I
of it.
can have the rest of it. Do you want cream? What, you want one cream?
No,
just black.
I'm just going straight.
You're going straight.
Straight shot.
It's good to hear you're straight.
Gonna commentary on us as we go out?
Oh, can I comment? Will I be able to see you?
Oh, gosh, yes. Oh, we're going to be on talking to each other. So I'm going for a walkabout.
No. Are you keeping your headset on? Well, no.
Okay. Drink more coffee.
Wow, that was a bleach blonde moment.
Drink more
because
coffee.
He would be tethered in.
Drink more coffee.
Okay, so there's that. So JP, we're going to talk him through a coffee run. When we get back,
I gotta switch.
When we get back, we're going to be talking about the Supreme Court Justice a discussion. We're going to be talking about fire. So, there we go. Now I can hear myself. We're also going to be talking about the California wildfires. We can talk about what we all did over the weekend. And we're going to let's talk about what we did over the weekend. And then we can also, JP, which involves the Stars. And JP and I actually have kind of a funny story. The Stars, as you know, are alive for Game 6. Hey, look. Woo, there's JP. Going for a coffee break. Y'all get to see the behind the scenes at Venture X. Oh, I'm on audio. You're on video. High tech, science. All right, so JP is headed out. Okay, we're a bit of a mess this morning. He's headed out through the halls of Venture X. Of course, come on out to Venture X. Check out Chance. Talk to Chance Post, who's just become a dear friend of ours. And he can take you on a tour. He can tell you about all of the package deals they've got here. Great space, great facilities out here at Venture X. And we have met some of the most incredible small business owners and entrepreneurs out here. It has just been fabulous. Oh, as a matter of fact, hello, good morning. JP's given the morning hello Hello. Hey, gorgeous girl. How are you? Hello. Hey, how's it going, Brandon? So we're rocking and rolling, showing you a little bit of a tour of sorts, a virtual tour. We've got Charles working the camera this morning. We've got a JP out, eventually going to get additional coffee for us. He got here super early this morning, so he's already gone through a cup of coffee. So this kind of scares me for the second part of the show. Another thing we're going to talk about when we get back, if we've got time, are some of the Trump trains that people have been involved in. I got to participate in my first one this weekend. Loved it. It was in tears. Loved it so much. God bless America. We live in the greatest country on earth. So here's like this whole little kitchen area. Every Friday we do lunch out here, and either a group grills here from Venture X, or what we've been doing lately is highlighting some local restaurants and bringing their food in. Here's JP at the coolest coffee machine ever. Just so cool. I love this. I love this. Okay, so Marvin says JP has left the building. No, he hasn't left it. He is expanding y'all's horizon of what you can see. And now many members of the crew have already been out here to hang out with us and chow down, or come out and check out the office space, or even come in studio, because we've got some of the members of the crew actually starting their own shows on the JP, Kathy, and the Crew network. Now look how easy this is. JP's about to start operating this coffee maker. It is so easy to operate, and we absolutely now JP, he's going to get his chops busted. He's not wearing his mask in the coffee area, but nobody else is out there, so it's okay. So we love it out here. We are having more fun. This is Charles knew some people out here. He's one of our partners, and we were so excited to come out here. We thought we were just going to be here temporarily while we built a studio out of another office space that we have in Frisco. And they said, hey, why don't y'all make this the home of JP, Kathy, and the Crew? And they have welcomed us with open arms, and it has been such a great partnership. Just absolutely super excited about hanging out here. Oh, baby, light my fire. That's hilarious. Okay, that is so funny. Oh, okay. Oh, Brandon needs to call Fred to talk about after hours permission. Okay, there we go. Okay, is JP going to be sending us all coffee by delivery? You know what? I don't know if he would make it in studio if he did that. But come up and join us. Anytime anybody from the crew wants to come up and just sit in studio, we've got plenty of space here, and hang out, even come on camera, or if you don't want to come on camera and just say hi and, kind of come out here and hang out with us in the morning. We would absolutely love that. I think the coffee thing required cleaning out, and look at JP being a good steward of the property that we are allowed to use here. He cleaned it out. It's great. It's a great coffee machine. It shows you these fun little cartoons and everything. We just absolutely love it. So we want to hear, what did the crew do this weekend? Cleo, I see you're on. How are your eyes? Let's see what you're saying. She's had surgery on both of her eyes. Okay, I practiced seeing with two eyes and getting rid of the creepy side flickers. Did some driving, stairs, public, and slopes. Excellent. Trevor out of Tarrant County is saying that he's got to have local honey, which I'm a big proponent of local honey. Even though I've had some people tell me, that doesn't matter if it's local or not. Maybe it's mind over matter, but I'm all about that. It can't hurt, and while it doesn't get rid of allergies, but it absolutely can help, and can help with that sinus post-nasal drip in the back of your throat. But he says he does that. And Zysol, Trevor, are you? Zysol. I have become a big fan of Zysol as well. A big fan. Oh, look at JP. He's all, cheers. I'm with you on that. Oh, Fred, absolutely. If you don't stop in now, we're going to be bummed. We're going to have our feelings personally hurt. Here comes JP. There's the reception area. He just went past the elevators, all back behind him, and then all back towards where JP is walking, all back in that area. There's separate office space. There's space to congregate and to do it at a safe social distancing area. JP's getting ready to head back in, but all back where you see right now on camera, all conference rooms, and it's so cool. We love these conference rooms. Whiteboards. Oh, thank you so much, kind sir. The cheers. The whiteboards. The walls are all whiteboards. The fogged part of the windows are all whiteboards, so you can go in there. They've got every hookup imaginable. They've got areas for you to do presentations. So it's a fabulous facility. And we were saying how you were a good steward of the property that we are being allowed to use. You cleaned out the coffee maker. I was very proud of you. How'd you know how to do that? I've only seen it done once. Charles knew how to do it.
I guess I figured it out.
Not yet.
All right.
There he is.
So thank you for that, by the way.
Yay! That was fun.
A successful coffee run.
That was fun.
So next time we'll figure out how to get sound. This was kind of an impromptu, let's get up and party.
That was a blast.
Now, did you narrate Brandon in the office?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So-
we were waving to everybody, and Fred even said Brandon's supposed to get with him for after hours access.
Oh, very good.
So there you go.
Well, you know what's fun about that, don't you? Is we were also, you couldn't hear us. Again, next time we'll have sound. This is impromptu. Well, your mic's not on. So.
We'll figure out how to do sound.
Right. So I was talking about health and beauty.
Yes.
I'm going to do a face mask for her and a hair mask here in studio on Friday.
I love it.
Yes.
Well, no. JP's
Hey,
more
Grace from
in
Africa.
touch.
Good to see you.
Hey, JP's more in touch with
his
his
feminine
feminine side than most
we're
gentlemen.
gonna
So
Well, I mean, I use eye cream and I use nighttime.
I know JP uses.
Hold on just a second. Don't let me take us there. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, JP uses more facial products than I do.
Yeah. And so,
So hey,
all right.
don't
So
knock it.
don't go anywhere. We're going to pause YouTube and we're going to come right back with YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, hang tight. We're going to pause for just a minute. And we'll do those on Friday. We'll do them at the very end.
and we would love for you, and you can do this
So do I
ahead of
start it up
time. If
now?
you're like me and you don't want to forget, like you have a thought in your mind and you don't want to forget it, make a little note on your personal device and write up your PPE. And I would love for us to fill up our chat rooms with PPEs every Friday. Write it out, and then that way people can, when they come to the show over the weekend, they can read all of these different positive person experiences from the crew. So if you get something, write it up, and then on Friday when we say post it, everybody post their personal or their positive person experience.
Well, they could do it now and just hashtag it now, and then we'll just pull up the hashtag.
Yeah, but I think we want the suspense of waiting until Friday. But then I said, if you're like me, you don't want
to. Not get them.
No, that's why I said you weren't listening, Charles. You write it up. Oh, I've got a message. Oh, yeah.
Because that's what.
I'll get back with you, Anthony.
That's
I
what
know.
that other one. That's what the other guy on that nighttime show, he says he does their hashtags one night. He says, okay, this is the hashtag. Everybody go hashtag it. And then the next day.
I think
is
it
when
would
they
be
do
cool. Everybody pre-type it up ahead of time if you've already had your positive person experience, like JP already did. He sent one Saturday to our little text chat group. So type it up. If it has a picture that goes with it, and then when we say on Friday, post to the show page, to the comments, all of a sudden we just flood Friday's chat room or comment section with positive person experiences. And, and this is another thing, we're getting ready to start our mental health moment back again. And it looks like we'll probably, JP, have that on Mondays.
Oh, yeah, Medical Monday.
Medical Mondays,
Absolutely,
we'll have our because mental health is part of your medical care. It is what it is. And I think right now more than ever, people need to hear about good things going on in the world.
They do. So, again, a different format. You are not going to be getting a, title and then 4 minutes and then we're on to the next title. It'll be an emphasis on a topic or a subject area. So we jump into the content and get real deep for you. So Mondays will be Medical Mondays. Today we're splitting it in half and we're kind of doing a potpourri to this second half. We're going to talk a little bit about the Supreme Court nominee. We're going to talk a little bit about Halloween. We're going to talk a little bit about Baby Yoda and the fact that the fire department was able to save Baby Yoda. Yes. And so, so on Wednesdays, that's going to be our time for current events and politics. And we're going to have on state senators, we're going to have on state reps, we're going to have on U.S. reps.
A week from Wednesday, we've got Congressman Van Taylor. We also have, I believe Senator Paxton starts her Senate minute next week, I think, and I'll confirm that and let you know. Also, every other Wednesday, is it every other? I think it's every other Wednesday. We will have a Miss Texas ambassador, and she will be talking about current events and ways to help around the great state of Texas.
That's right. And then Fridays is our entertainment first half, and then sports the second half. The last 5 minutes we will use for kind of a good of the order, and that'll be our PPE moments. And so if you've got a PPE moment, which is that personal, positive person experience, and
yes.
What we're going to do with that, I'm going to try to do accumulation of positive people and try to figure out a way to get a prize to them, to kind of do a drawing at the end and say,
that'd be so cool. Yeah, do some kind of some kind of a fun gift certificate.
So
So,
if
get
you've got
donuts
somebody,
or coffee or
right? If you've got
something.
somebody at a restaurant, if you've got somebody at a museum, if you've
Maybe
got
they would
somebody at a
donate a gift
retail store,
certificate.
well, that. But
Yes.
I'm also saying that's what you're looking for.
Oh, I love that. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Where you're looking for those
Right.
positive person experiences. But if
And mine
anybody,
was great.
If anybody knows anybody from the crew knows somebody who owns a restaurant or a small business or whatever the case may be, and maybe somebody be willing to donate a $5 or $10 gift card, we can start. That's a good idea.
We
That
could
we can start
accumulate a
accumulate
basket of those.
and then maybe closer to Thanksgiving, distribute those out to people who have been mentioned as a positive person experience. Oh, I love that.
Yes.
We're brainstorming on air.
We are. So that just
Good
gives you an
times.
idea. So let's go ahead and get over and talk about the Supreme Court nominee, what the Supreme Court
And before we do that,
looks like. Go ahead.
Lisa Chastain, who she and I are starting a new show next week.
Right.
How is it next week?
It is.
Super, super excited. The heart and soul of Texas women, and that starts next Monday. So
we have a name now.
Stay tuned. We do.
All right.
We're official and fancy.
All
Well,
right, there
we're
you
not
go.
fancy, but we're official and we're super excited. So, Lisa, we love you. Good morning. Have a blessed Monday. Can't wait to start working with you next week. Well, we're already working with her, but can't wait to see her on camera next week.
Well, and also we have several shows on the network. Brunch with Ben is coming soon.
Yes,
He's
yes,
held
yes.
off till November. Wanted to give you a heads
Yep.
up on that.
Real excited about that.
Don't forget the Lawyer Show from 12 to 1.
Great show.
It is a great show.
Good
Everything about the
information.
law that you want in certain areas. I mean, and we encourage you to ask questions and be a part of that. And so that's very exciting. Don't forget to also pick up Dr. Good on Thursdays as well.
Her show Sunday was phenomenal. The content was over the top informative. If you are in education, if you're a parent of a school-age kid, or if you're the grandparent of a school-age kid, you can't miss that show.
No. And so then you have our entertainment part of it with Punchline Players Comedy Show.
And I love those.
And so you got to tune in. That's at 7 o'clock.
Love those
As
skits.
well on Thursday. So Thursdays we're packed. On Sunday you've got Ask Dr. Be Good at 8 a.m. And it's 8 a.m. on Sundays. You don't want to miss her as well. And then we're going to have the Heart and Soul of a Texas Woman
Yep.
coming out. And then we've
So
also got
excited.
Money. I'm
Oh.
super excited about this. Our
Yes.
Money show that's coming out
Yes.
with Gail and Steve Meeks. You don't want to meet. You want to meet them. Yes, you do want to
Don't be
meet
You
them.
want to meet the Meeks.
Yes, you want to meet the
Don't
Meeks.
be meek.
Now that would have been a funny
without the
show.
meeks.
Meet the Meeks.
Come meet the Meeks. That could be interesting. But yeah, Money Link. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be a great show as well. That's going to be
Excellent.
on JP Kathy and the Crew Network, and we'll announce that schedule when we confirm that. And then also going to be having a new show, Kathy, that we're putting together. It's mortgages, it's realtors, and it's credit,
Love it.
all in one
Love
show.
it, love it, and love it. And then military shows. We've got
Oh,
two
gosh.
military
Well,
shows
starting this
up.
Saturday.
This Saturday, our first military show's coming
Yeah.
on board. And we did a dry run last weekend, and we survived.
Yeah, who's going to run the board?
Kathy and I.
we actually, I mean, for us.
With you on the phone?
Yeah, I was going to say with you FaceTiming us or Google Meeting us. No, but JP
Google
learned
Meet.
how to operate the lights this weekend and the cameras. I was proud of us.
I was proud of us. You handled the dashboard well.
Thank you so very
I
much.
didn't get
You're
any
welcome.
calls afterwards.
Except when
so
Charles
that
was
nice.
yelling and going, no, don't push those buttons. And so I'm like sending him pictures. He's like, push those, don't push those. I'm like, so unpush them or push them? And he's like,
green.
oh my
They're
gosh.
all green and red, but I hear nothing.
He's like, no duh, because you have it wrong, honey.
I love that. No duh. So President Trump has nominated Judge
yes.
Amy Coney Barrett
Yep.
to the Supreme Court. Let's gain some commentary from this
woman.
nominee. Good, strong woman.
Yes.
So if you'll go to my screen, Chuck, we're going to get a little audio and pick up just a little bit of what she had to say in commentary that came from her.
Whoops.
So
Sorry,
let me know.
sorry.
Interesting screenshot there.
Yeah, let me change that.
Yeah.
Unless you want that.
No. We don't want to disrespect the judge. Don't disrespect your
Undo
judges.
that and there we go. Is that what you want?
All right, there we go. Perfect. Here we go. Let me kick this off. Again, this is Judge Amy Coney Barrett.
Democrats wasting no time launching their attacks against Amy Coney Barrett as the president officially nominates her to the Supreme Court. So what are senators expecting as the battle heats up? Well, let's ask two of them. Tennessee GOP senator and author of The Mind of a Conservative Woman, Marsha
she'll be on.
Blackburn, along with Indiana GOP Senator Mike Braun. Senators,
Let's get a
thank
few
you both
comments
so
from the
much
senators,
for
because this is
being
where it's
here.
going to be
Senator
important.
Braun,
They're
I'll start
looking.
with you.
They've
Let's talk
released
about
a
what the fight
schedule.
might be.
Okay.
Do you
So-
already have the votes? It seems that you already have the votes to confirm her. So what could Democrats do to stop the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett?
So I think the votes are there. We kind of got that all clear about a week ago. So the attack they're going to take will be the ones that they kind of used, I think, in the Kavanaugh hearings. And for me, that was so real in the sense that my race and Josh Hawley's in Missouri were the two that were close going into the Kavanaugh hearings. All I can tell you is we ended up winning by about 6 points each. So I think Democrats beware. When you take someone like Amy Coney Barrett, who's got a record personally and judicially, I think it's going to be a tough sell to use those same tactics that you had during the Kavanaugh hearings. So here they're going to focus, in my opinion, on what might happen policy-wise with her point of view. And I think that's tricky as well, because
I'm going to pause him for a minute. And so, Kathy, I want to reflect on that. Senator Braun is right on target. And a lot came out this weekend that Democrats are going to do their best to try to do what they did to Kavanaugh, but Democratic pundit consultants are saying stay away from it.
Even Nancy Pelosi, who is Catholic, pro-choice but Catholic, and I can't reconcile that, but she even warned fellow Democrats, stay away from Catholicism being the religion of which the soon-to-be justice practices. So even Nancy Pelosi said that. So I thought that was very interesting. First of all, what happened to Justice Kavanaugh was one of the most horrific displays of cruelty I've seen. And the hypocrisy that came from the Democrats. Heck, I remember, and it still makes me lose my mind, Cory Booker, when he gave his speech as part of the Judicial Committee, Selection Committee, I said, that was not a speech in favor of this, alleged victim. That was a presidential kickoff speech, and it was.
It was, absolutely, which ended up with nowhere, by the way.
Didn't work out so well.
So here's the thing, right? So do Democrats come out and go after Amy Coney Barrett? And I say, go ahead, please. I think that will elect the president without a shadow of a doubt.
I think at that point, you possibly have Trump winning a state that nobody would anticipate him winning. And it's interesting, JP. One of the articles, and I think, first of all, I think she is a stellar choice. I mean, this is a woman who graduated top of her class in Notre Dame, was a law professor. I think it's at least 3 times she had been chosen as law professor or as distinguished professor of the year at Notre Dame. And that is an award that is chosen every year by the student body. So I think that speaks volumes. She was she clerked for Justice Scalia, who has always been my favorite justice on the Supreme Court. This is an amazing woman. This is a woman, she's a mother of 7, 5 biological children, 2 children that were adopted from Haiti. And what's interesting is they're already starting to come out, and her 13-year-old daughter from Haiti is just strikingly beautiful girl, and people are already starting to come after her. People are saying that disgusting, horrible things about her. People are saying that that her and her husband stole these children. They didn't legally adopt them. They're trying to say she's part of a 2,000 or a very small cult. Some of the connections they're trying to make literally just look like big old bullies.
Yeah, I mean, it makes your stomach sick. And to the point where I do believe that Biden loses points because he's beginning in October. Senator Lindsey Graham has already released the schedule of the hearings. And it's going to be 4 days.
She should be appointed about a week before the presidential election happens.
Well,
and you know, it's interesting, JP, have you seen, and this is Noah Feldman, I'm going to send you this article. I'm going to try to post this on afterwards. He said, like many other liberals, I am devastated by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death, which opened a way for President Donald Trump to nominate a third Supreme Court justice in his first term. And again, this is a very liberal individual writing this.
Sorry, Kathy, hold on. There you go.
Okay. He said, and I am revolted by the hypocrisy of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's willingness to confirm Trump's nominee after refusing to even allow a vote on Judge Merrick Garland. Okay, blah, blah, blah. He said, yet these political judgments need to be distinguished from a separate question. What to think about Judge Amy Coney Barrett, whom Trump has told associates he plans to nominate. This was right before his announcement on Saturday.
Right.
And here I want to be extremely clear. Regardless of what you or I may think of the circumstances of this nomination, and this is from a very liberal individual, Barrett is highly qualified to serve on the Supreme Court. And she has had more and more liberals come out and say, I may not like this. I may not like that Trump's getting a third appointment, but she is qualified. They're going to have a hard time arguing against her record and her qualifications.
Well, and I'm telling you, this is what's happening. The Democratic pundits and the people that want to see the Democratic Party succeed in the fall are taking that stance. They're not going to come, if they're smart, and that's what all the content was this weekend. If Democrats are smart, they don't come out and attack Amy Coney Barrett. They make it one of the fastest confirmation hearings, not let it become messy, not attack her religion, because it's already bad enough that the Democratic Party is now wearing the necklace of being godless and not wanting God in any part of the United States, including our own Pledge of Allegiance, for goodness sakes.
Which makes it not the Pledge of Allegiance.
Right. And the Star Spangled Banner, they want that to be changed. And so they're already seen as the un-American godless party. So with that being said, that's the push. The push is the other direction. And again, Amy Coney Barrett is a great candidate. She's a great judge. And so why she shouldn't be on the high court would be beyond me. Let's go ahead and catch a few more comments. And I think this is where President Trump is going to announce. Marsha Blackburn's going to be the one speaking. She's on the Senate Judiciary Committee. So let's catch the end here of the comments that are being made.
And to be on the floor with her nomination, they will not slow us down.
Well, when we have a little more time, Senators, I'd love to ask you both what their response and then your response might be to some of the more extreme measures they've talked about, like initiating an impeachment of the president or packing the court. We will have time to discuss those as well. Senators, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
All right. Well, they cut away from her comments, but nonetheless, again, as you heard Marsha Blackburn say, they're not going to stop us. When you can pick up the senator from Utah, which is huge because he normally defects with Maine and Alaska.
And he said
on Trump
he will
issues,
support,
President Trump issues.
And that was huge when Romney came out and said, if this process moves forward, I will support the nominee of the president, which was kind of jaw-dropping because he hasn't in the last 3.5 years. So it's just very, very interesting dynamics. And then again, I've said every comment that I've put out there on social media this weekend has been, first of all, praying for her beautiful family, because this is a tough road to hoe. God bless them for all stepping up to serve and allowing this incredible woman to serve. And my big thing has been she is a stellar choice. Period.
Absolutely.
End of sentence.
All right. If we can get Chuck back behind the engineering booth, I want you to put my screen on real quick. So
he's become untethered.
He has. Here's the deal. The California wildfires have hurt millions of species of animals. just like the Australian fires did.
Well, JP, isn't it? I believe it's hit Napa Valley now.
It has 1,000 acres. People are, people are starting to protect their homes. They've got sprinklers on their roofs. They've, some people are staying, some people are leaving. So something that comes out of the California wildfires, the force is in fact with Baby Yoda.
I love that.
I do too. The lucky kitten was rescued from the North Complex fire, and there is the real life
Look at the
Baby
little
Yoda.
sweet Baby Yoda, baby kitten. You knew when you sent that to me, I was going to be like,
Oh, of course I did. Of course I
want
did.
that little
We're so strong with this one.
Yeah.
We had Yoda in studio for a moment talking about his son or daughter,
That's,
whichever
you
that
know, and again, there is so much devastation. We're not by any means making light of what still is going on.
No,
in
we're trying to find
California.
something positive out of it.
Something happy out, because these men and women who are going in every day to fight this fire, some losing their life, some being injured, people losing their homes. It's so tragic all the way around. So this was one of those good stories that you really just needed to hear.
Well, and you and I both are Mandalorian fans.
Yes, we are.
And that's getting ready to launch. And so when they
Love
found
us the Baby Yoda.
Well, and what I know what it is that Mandalorian had taken and put Baby Yoda in California.
Oh,
and
there
he went
that's
off.
It.
Is that where he was hidden?
Yes, it went off
And what is in that coffee?
Right. Went off to an interplanetary battle, and we couldn't get back in time. And so we had his firefighter friends help protect Baby Yoda.
I love it. I love it.
And so there you have it, right there. Here's the thing, right? And this is the truth of it. The truth of it is that a lot of you are home, and a lot of you are locked up in your homes. You heard Dr. Clothier say today that a lot of the new cases are coming from restaurants with COVID-19.
I was shocked to hear that. In the last, 10 to 14 days, he said that's been something that's been on the uprise.
Yeah.
I wonder, we had talked, I told you that my daughter had found this pop-up State Fair of Texas art exhibit that we were supposed to go to this weekend. We had tickets because they had sold out last week, and so we were going to go last night at the Statler Hotel, the very famous Statler Hotel, and it got canceled about 24 hours beforehand. And I wonder, was it COVID related, that cancellation? Now, they didn't say when they refunded us our money, but they didn't say. I wonder now, hearing what Dr. Clothier said, there may have been some employees or some guests who had come there. Maybe.
Right.
It kind of makes you wonder whenever there is a cancellation or a change in plans. Is it due to COVID? We don't know.
So here's my thing, right? My thing is this, is that I'm with Governor DeSantis, by the way, in Florida.
Yeah. Oh, they're unmasked.
Open it all up. Take the masks
unmasked.
off. It's time to let people be responsible for themselves. I've been saying that for ever and 12 years. That why are we allowing the government to close us up? Why are we allowing the government, with whom we don't really trust anyways, we've entrusted some parts of our liberty and freedoms, but they've overstepped their bounds, and we are losing the concept of what our forefathers created back in the Declaration of Independence. And so it's time to liberate ourselves from the government, and that's what Governor DeSantis is doing.
If everybody's, and that's the thing, and I know Dr. Clothier, and again, it's one of those things. There are parts of me that go, you know what, and I do, when I go into public and I go into a place where they require a mask, I'm like, okay, and I wear the mask. When I don't have to have it on, boy, that puppy, I rip it off. There are parts of me that do wonder, and you hear about the validity of wearing a mask not helping. It doesn't help you from getting it. It helps you from spreading it. And I get that. But I am very anxious to see what happens with Florida statistics and if it makes a difference, if it stays the same, because I know I touch my face way more than I used to. I struggle with asthma, so there's times I'm in public and I have to bring it down from my face because I almost start having like a panic attack.
Right.
Feeling like I can't breathe, and I get it. Everybody medical, from Dr. Dave to Dr. Clothier, says you can still breathe, but it's in my head. The mask is preventing me from taking in fresh air, and I start panicking. So,
well, and again,
I don't know. I just think we can police ourselves.
I just think to me, I think it's very interesting. And Dr. Dave and Dr. Clothier are on both sides of this.
Right.
You've got the Swedish herd immunity kind of concept. Then you've got what we're doing, and Sweden seems to have it knocked down pretty good and doing a pretty good job.
And they're obviously smaller than America. We get it.
But we're still talking 1 million people.
And I think it also depends on where if I'm in a crowded city where it's everybody kind of lives on top of each other is one thing, but like out here in Collin County, we're pretty well spread out. Well, okay, JP, your dad has some serious health complications.
He does.
And you're very aware, and you have been very cautious the entire time this has gone on, so much so that when we thought it was lived on the surface, you had a big, like an hour-long ritual to even get groceries into the house.
Correct.
So you're taking COVID very seriously, because if your dad gets COVID, that would not be good.
And I take care of him. But again, that's my...
And you're saying...
Let everybody handle that.
Let everybody handle their own business.
Good morning, Shay Drake, by the way.
Oh, Shay, good morning.
All right. And Coach, just real quick, you put on there a Texas judge is attempting to block straight ticket voting in November's election. Actually, that has already taken place. So it's over. There's no more straight party.
There was a vote. There was just something that was overturned on Friday. And I think that will not be the last lawsuit. I think what the Democrats are doing is I think you've got Democrats who are trying to set us up for lawsuits after the election to make null and void. The problem is, and I get it, trust me, as victory co-chair for Collin County for the Republican Party, one of the biggest jobs that I have had and our team has had is to educate people about, hey, you can't go in and just hit straight party ticket right now. At this point, all of the machines, every piece of software, everything's already been put in place.
Right.
If you're going to vote for Republican, you've got to go all the way down the ballot, or same with the Democrats.
And that was going to be my commentary. The ballots are done.
I mean, at this point, I don't know that we have the money.
No.
Like it or lump it. The money, the resources, the time. So if whoever you're supporting, you need to educate your friends and family. It will say Republican or Democrat next to the names, but it's not your one and done.
No.
It's all the way down the ballot.
And let me tell you, if this goes...
I think there'll probably be a few other lawsuits before Election Day on this.
If this goes the conspiracy theory route, where everything gets pushed, where Nancy Pelosi becomes president, I will load up my RV.
My ears are burning.
Oh, I'm loading up the RV and heading to the mountains.
Oh.
I'm out. I'm out.
Mountains outside of America?
I'm out. Well, I'm going to go hide in the mountains in America. You won't find me.
And you know the Democrats, and again, maybe black helicopters
Nancy
are flying
Pelosi's
around
not going to Kentucky, so I'll go to the mountains.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. They don't have $3,000 ice cream. They don't have $3,000 ice cream.
Well,
there.
they also don't have any Democrat-loving fools.
So let me put on my foil hat and let me, say that there are black helicopters circling around the building. But I really think everything's been designed to cause chaos for this election because Nancy has not been able to impeach and get rid of this president. She is fearful that he gets reelected. And so this has all been a big push by the other side. I mean, look, heck, what state was it? Oh, shoot. I don't know if I sent you that article, JP. What state was it where they found all of those mail-in military ballots?
Oh, yeah. I don't
in
remember
the trash.
Yeah. No, I saw that. I can't remember where it was.
You know the big old picture. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I remember what you're talking about. Wow. So here's the thing. It's time to turn the page. Halloween is on the brink, and people are starting to decorate. I love that. Chuck, if you'll put my screen on. And so this is kind of fun. Some of the new decorations that are out and about this year. How about this one? This one's kind of spooky. They've got a series of faceless witches around some pumpkins. Tell me that's not a cool looking decoration.
I don't know if I like that.
I like that. I think it's cool. Very, very cool to me anyways. I love it. So, but yeah, you can get all kinds of fun.
Fred says then Texas can become a country. You know what? At that point,
absolutely.
We've got big old hashtag secede.
So
yeah, that's a good point,
and
Fred.
then look at this one. This is the Oriental Trading Company, and these guys are pretty inexpensive, right?
Yes.
But look at this one. Look how fun that is. It's a mermaid skeleton.
See, and it's funny you say that. My daughter, she's got her apartment decorated, and one of the decorations I got her last year was a unicorn skeleton. So the mermaid skeleton, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
$100.
That's cheap. Because the clown I want to buy for Kathy
is $9,000.
is $199, and so
if it would have been $99, it would
I'd
be
have
in
bought it.
studio
Yes,
with
it
us
would
right
be.
now, everybody.
It absolutely would be.
Well, you said everybody was like at Home Depot taking pictures.
They
with
got
it.
mad at me. They're like, "Get out of the way,
And you're
dude!"
like, I'm videotaping. Come on.
Now check this out. I love this outdoor, this outdoor one. How fun is that? Let's see if we can make that bigger. Well, it didn't really get bigger. How do I get? There we go. It got bigger.
There we go.
Check that out. Tell me how fun it is. Home Depot's got some great stuff this time. Do you know that clown video got over 800 views on it?
I thought it had like 1,000.
Does it have 1,000 now?
People are still commenting on that video.
Yeah, they're like, where did you
and it
get
keeps
that?
getting brought back up. And then my brother's like, way to go, John. I'm like, oh, Lord have
Which
mercy.
video? The one with your
The clown.
mask?
No. The clown at Home Depot. The Jack in the Box.
No. The one that the ginormous life-size jacked up Jack in the Box clown, which is the worst kind there is.
Up. I love
There's one at Home
It
Depot?
is.
Yes, it's way cool.
You
That's
haven't
where
seen-
it's at.
it's on my Facebook page too.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's way cool.
Which
Where is
I'm
it?
scrolling down trying to look for one of our shows on my page, and then that thing's.
And
I'm
you're not
like,
even added
Kathy,
yet.
get off your own page.
Now, Kathy,
Oh, I'm gonna. I'll share the screen.
this is for your musical.
Love. Oh, Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of
Little
Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors.
How
Bop,
fun is
shabop.
that, right?
I love that. Where's that?
Let's see. That is Stay and Play. No, that's Win. Home Edit. So I don't know where you get it at.
That looks pretty expensive, though.
You think so?
Does it say "Feed Me, Seymour"?
Now that would be cool if it did.
I love that.
Scary outdoor Halloween decorations that'll make you. So Home Edit is where you can get that from.
I'm looking at your screen, Kathy.
Oh, you can. I was gonna mention something else not Halloween related.
Oh, okay.
But let me
So
pull it up.
lots going on. Have fun.
This
Let's
is-
not forget that in all these times to go out and have.
Yeah,
Fun.
I think laughter, smiling is the best medicine. This weekend here, I'll pull it. Hold on, I'll pull this up. Okay, this weekend, and I think this is one of the reasons Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are so concerned. Okay, I've got a picture on my
Because she
screen
looks
real
like my
quick.
Halloween decorations?
Yeah, well, that's mentioned several times on the feed.
She's the crypt.
Did you see that?
She's the crypt leader.
Okay, that's mentioned several times. So this weekend I got to participate in a Trump train, one of the 2020 Trump trains. Heck, in Laredo a couple of weekends ago, they had 4,000 cars and 7,000 participants. Let me tell you, we had people up. We had people up at headquarters, and there were two Trump trains in Plano on Saturday. People had their cars decorated. There were people who joined us as we were going along the route. They were so excited. I did get two people who gave me the next to the "You're number one" finger.
Well, I was going to ask you if you got any friends.
We got one, a teenager at a restaurant in the parking lot, gave us the high one. A lady in her car who I think was saying "Buck Trump" to us. I'm pretty sure that's what she was saying, JP, right?
I'm sure.
Sure. Okay.
I'm
He's
sure.
like, yeah, Kathy. Okay. Yeah. Check your hearing. But then other than that, for almost an entire hour that we were on the road driving around in Plano, honks, even from a firefighter in a fire engine, cheers, people on the side of the road clapping and videotaping our parade, people waving and giving us a thumbs up, people who got in line and followed us back to headquarters just because they were like, we wanted to be part of this. This is so awesome. There were several times while we were driving that I got choked up because I thought, you know what? How blessed are we to live in the greatest country on God's green earth where we're allowed to peacefully go out and support on a Saturday afternoon in a big old crowd what we love and believe in and hold dear. I mean, this is a great country. It really is.
How long did you parade for?
It was over an hour. We drove for over an hour.
Well, check this out.
Yeah.
The parade didn't stop. There were parades all over the city.
Oh, they were all over the country this weekend.
Right.
And that doesn't count all the boat parades.
Right. So Haggard
And I
Park.
don't see anything for Biden.
I don't either.
A handful of people at Gaylord and Preston in Frisco.
Yeah.
Oh.
Haggard Park, downtown Plano.
Yeah.
I'm performing a wedding.
Yes. Was this on Saturday?
Yes,
Yeah.
at 4:00. Trump parades, honking horns.
That was the second one. We had
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
the
did
3
you?
that was the 3:00 one.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
So the-
Oh, during the wedding
Yes.
though. Oh,
my
no.
wedding couple is like, dude, we like Trump too, but could you not honk for like 5 minutes? Let us get
We'd
married.
like to get the I-do's out. Let the judge talk.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
And
so they went down. Oh, they went downtown Plano
Yes.
on that route.
And so we waited for the Trump parade to go back east on 15th Street. And they're like, can you hurry? And I'm like, okay. So we got it out before the
that's
run came
great.
back.
Do you? Yes.
That's
Do
so
you?
great.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you what?
Do you? Yes. Do you?
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. Well,
Fred Nord, have a great day, buddy.
it's just hard to overcome that enthusiasm. Okay, Cleo, who we're still praying for her because she's
had eye
regaining,
surgery.
in both eyes.
I'm going to do mine on the right eye, so I'm going to talk to Cleo when
Are
this
you
is
going
all
to? Her
healed up.
doctor is supposed to be
It's
phenomenal.
it's Harvey. What's his name? I think. Mr. Eyeball guy.
Yeah, help us out with that, Cleo. But she's
Harvey Weinstein.
recovering.
Chuck.
She posted, and if you can share my screen, she posted the best meme I've ever seen, or for sure this year. Okay, so, and if anybody knows Talladega Nights, and if you have not watched the
I
movie
have.
Talladega Nights
Baby
a bajillion
Jesus.
time, so funny. So
Baby Jesus in a manger.
I love this.
Gold baby Jesus.
Dear, adult baby Jesus. So, dear
Oh,
sweet
and this
baby
is where they're
Jesus,
praying,
this is the
yes.
funniest thing. If 2020 brings us zombies, please let it be the kind from The Walking Dead and not the kind from World War Z, because some of us are fat and can't run very fast. Amen. Because as you know, The Walking Dead has the slow zombies that you
Right.
can strategize unless a herd of them get around you. But
World War Z, they're running.
and they climb up on each other, and it's crazy.
Yeah, they're fast.
But Talladega Nights is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. To this day, that movie literally makes me cry
Oh, it does
with
me too.
laughter. And when Cleo posted this, my comment was, there are so many great things about this meme, I don't even know where to start. So
Yeah.
thank you, Cleo, from the crew. That is just hilarious.
So we need your help. We are going to elicit your help. And so we want to make sure that if you have any titles, topics that you want to hear us kick around, again, we're going to a format that is much more in-depth, much more content-driven. And we're going to do basically really 2 podcasts in one. And so Mondays is Medical Mondays. And this next Monday, we will have family health care, we'll have emergency health care, and I'm hoping we're going to have female health care
Which would
with
be
Dr. Michael
fantastic.
Jones, and possibly baby as well, because he's an OBGYN.
Yep.
And so that'll be Medical Mondays. And we'll talk about science. We'll talk about the impact of the medical world on politics, on economics, on social structure.
Well, it involves and impacts everybody. And also, we're getting ready to start back up our mental health moment. And this is...
Dr. Harvey Carter, by the way, not a
That's
sponsor
it.
yet.
Yes.
We can work on
we
him.
would love that. Well,
And Shay says, if you're not first, you're last.
oh, yeah. Yep. Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby. You were saying, I'm sorry, I interrupted you this time.
Which that's shocking. That never happens. I'm the one
much.
always interrupting. So it's one of those things that with Cleo, I mean, she had gotten to the point where she said it was hard to do her job. I know you've gotten to the point where you're having to look at your phone this close.
Right.
So it'd be great if you talked us through that whole thing, because I think there are more people
Sure.
who need this done, who put it off. But it's your eyesight.
I wonder if the doctor let us do a live thing while he's doing the surgery.
Probably for lawsuit purposes, no. But
No, they might.
That might be cool.
They
They
might.
might let us.
if they
might
did,
already
I'll ask.
video it.
I would gladly thumbs up and say praying for you and not watch, because that makes my eyes like
Actually,
it makes it
I
hard
think
for
they
me
do.
to
I think
open my
some
eyes
of them
thinking
do
about it.
video in case of issues.
Well, now a lot of
Oh,
them now,
interesting.
in the medical world now, like when I had my retinal surgeries back-to-back years, I could have gotten the DVD because they record the whole thing of the surgery. Yeah, they do. They do that now.
Yeah.
So, but if you have any topics you'd like to hear about medicine, about science, please let us know. That's on Mondays. On Wednesdays, we're going to be talking about government, politics, current events.
Yep.
And so, and we're going to have a wide range of current events. I mean, that's going to be from Dr. Good
We'll have a
to Miss Texas as ambassador.
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Good, because her information
And
really.
we're going to have Miss Grapevine, by the way, this
Yeah,
Wednesday.
that's right. Miss Grapevine's coming. It will be coming on with us Wednesday. With Dr. Good, the information right now, education and schools being open or not. Not that her show was not relevant before and hugely educational, pun intended, pun day Monday.
Right.
But right now, more than ever, everybody's impacted by kids being back in school or not back in school.
Absolutely.
You know, teachers, kids, staff of these school districts, you know, heck, your business, your software business is all about truancy.
Right.
And, because these kids have found just crazy hacks around how to make it look like they're on Zoom and they're still moving. Like you can hack and put a video in. So the teachers are now having to do and ask certain things to make sure the kids
are actually there.
Yeah. That's just crazy.
Yeah. So Cleo says her favorite part of the movie when Ricky Bobby said, "Help me, Jesus. Help me, Oprah. Help me, Tom Cruise, with your witchcraft."
Yeah,
I love that.
yes.
That was great
He's
stuff,
running
too.
because he thinks he's on fire,
Yes.
and he's not.
So that's Wednesdays, and we'll have Senator Angela Paxton back on with the Senate Minute.
Yep.
We're going to have Congressman Taylor on, of course, regularly, and other government officials as well.
Colonel West,
And
RPT
Colonel
chair.
West, RPT chair, will be on with us as well regularly. And don't forget also that we will have James Sellers with Make Your Mark with Site Mark.
Yes.
Talking about
Oh, yes.
talking about Second Amendment, talking about guns, talking about sites, talking about hunts, all kinds of fun stuff. So you can get your gun on Wednesdays as well, because that's also a current
Get your
event.
gun on.
Yep.
That's
I like
interesting.
Yeah, get your
That's a
guns on.
Get your gun
Hashtag.
on.
Yeah,
Hashtag.
that's a hashtag. And then on Fridays, we talk entertainment news, and then we'll also be talking sports. And there's a ton of sports to talk about Friday. Well, hopefully the Stars will carry us into Game 7.
Funny thing is, JP and I are very superstitious about our sports. So Saturday, I wore my Trump hat, didn't wear my Dallas Stars hat. JP sends me a text and says, Stars scored.
Yeah.
My husband and I were looking for a documentary to binge watch. We had forgotten about the game. I had not done any of my pregame texting with any of my friends or family. You didn't wear your Stanley Cup shirt that Courtney got you.
And no clown blah, blah, blah.
No, anything. So we are hopeful for tonight
Yes,
because
we
it's do or die. We either
It is do or die.
we either make it to Game 7 or we don't.
Right.
But wow, and that double overtime
was way awesome.
That's exhausting.
Awesome.
I
Just
felt like I had played hockey and I was the
Were you
goalie.
sweating in the front room?
Oh my gosh, I was so stressed out. I kept forgetting to breathe.
Yeah. It was awesome.
So go Dallas Stars, but we're not going to make a big deal about
No, we're not.
it.
Stars,
I did not wear my hat.
You did not.
today.
I wore my Longhorn hat, though.
And you've got a little plaid shirt
A
on.
lot to talk about on Friday.
Oh, tons.
Lots to talk about on
College football
Friday.
out the wazoo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
which
then
is fun.
Coach Quigley says, survey on local TV, pumpkin spice, yes or no? Oh,
You're
heck
a yes.
yeah.
You're
Not
such a
heck
yes. You're such a yes. It's not even funny. I'll take pumpkin loaf bread, pumpkin spice loaf bread every so often, but
Okay, you ready for this?
I'm not for the Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Oh, no,
pumpkin
no.
spice.
That's just redonkulous.
Goodbye.
Yeah, where's your
deny.
want on that one? Yeah, thank you, Jesus. Pumpkin
Hey,
spice
hey,
McDonald's.
hey.
What? Jesus is
What
with
is-
me.
Yeah, but what is he? Where? I mean, where is?
He's with me all the time.
Huh.
I know he's with you all the time. I see him in you. I know he's with Kathy all the time.
I was gonna say.
I see him in Kathy.
Charles quotes him all the time.
He does. Good guy to quote, by the way. But,
I forget what feast day it is.
so check this out. I've already had, Coach Quigley says absolutely big no. I've already had my pumpkin spice Frappuccino, which I didn't know they made. Whoa, way good. Then I've had my pumpkin spice latte. Whoa, way good.
Yeah, you
I've
are
had my
pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin
out.
cupcake cream cheese.
Now those are
Whoa, way
good. Those are very good.
And my pumpkin bread.
Yeah, you're all pumpkin out.
bread.
Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you.
Do you have candles that smell like it?
Now that
yes.
deserves a
See, I
wah,
knew
wah,
it.
wah.
I knew it.
It does. COVID 55. Well, we're going to start the music and COVID 55 our way out the door. Wednesday, huge show. You don't want to miss it. Share it with everybody that you can. Go to our link tree at JP Kathy and crew. We'll have Chuck throw it up on the screen as we're heading. Oh, there it is. It's at the top corner there. Let's point up.
Yeah,
And
right above your head, Kathy.
Oh, wrong way.
Point above
that
your
way.
head.
Because Chuck likes that. I don't understand, but that's
Keep
okay.
you guessing. Keep you guessing.
Yeah, we're keeping us guessing. All right. But there it is. JP Kathy and the crew on Linktree. Send all your friends over there and then join us on YouTube as we party and party and party. We'll see you on Wednesday. Have a blessed
Love
couple
y'all.
days. And as Ricky Bobby said, help me, Jesus. Help me, Oprah. Help me, Tom Cruise, with your witchcraft as we continue our COVID-19 embarkation into the world.
Oh,
All
we're
right.
a mess. We love y'all.
Take care, everybody.
Have a blessed week, the crew.
Woo. Boy, I'm Mr. Sneeze a lot. Woo, buddy.